Boom. Alright, listen. Keep your distance, put masks on everything, and everything will be fine. Allegedly. Now, let's go back to books. What we have here is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, and this is a really, really lovely cover we have here. Listen. Um, this is, of course, one of the titans of Russian literature and even universal literature. Okay, this is Dostoevsky we're talking about here. Basically, the advice that I want to give, you cannot just jump into Dostoevsky's masterpieces, the Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment, or The Idiot, his big books. You can't just jump into them if you're just reading, let's call it vanilla literature. Because that's what I did when I started reading in my early 20s. I said, well, I already have Dostoevsky, and I just went into the Brothers Karamazov, and let me tell you, I didn't understand almost anything because I didn't have that educational background. Okay, you just cannot start with somebody like this, or with Nietzsche, or Tolstoy, or and so on. You gotta you gotta read a lot of of lower works for you to gather that knowledge in order to understand these treasures. Okay, you cannot just start with the big ones like I did and hope you'll understand. There's a lot here to unpack. Okay, there's a lot of here to unpack, and again, listen. There is some criticism about Dostoevsky, especially with his writing. Apparently, I don't know the Russian language, but apparently, his original writings in Russian, apparently they're distasteful, and some say that his writing has no style, has no elegance, yada yada, and some of his ideas are corny and over exaggerated. Maybe, but listen, that's still a superficial notion, okay? Because Dostoevsky, there's a reason why he has withstood the test of time. Even his personal life is an odyssey, a saga in its own, right? Dude gets he's gonna get executed as a young man, and in the last second before he gets executed, he is pardoned and he has to go to this work camp. And the moment he is pardoned, he is reborn as a new man, right? He is no longer just another Russian citizen. He is Fyodor Dostoevsky, one of the greatest writers that has ever been, because of his multi-level content. Because his books are a treasure. They are a deep ocean of knowledge and agony and anguish. Okay, you gotta read them, but you gotta read them in a certain way. You just can't jump in and hope that you're gonna catch everything. Because listen, we don't have the kind of education that was back in the day. Okay, we have no idea about anything basically. Right? So even if allegedly he has no style, or his ideas in some ways are weaker than, I don't know, whatever these critics, right? And even Hemingway said criticized him, and Nabokov and many others. He has no style. His writing is poor. Some of his ideas are questionable. Whatever, fine, but you cannot deny this man's, what do you call it, evil genius. He's an evil genius for a reason. All right. But let's talk about the book. We got Crime and Punishment, and I won't bore you with the uh, ins and outs of this entire book. Let's get to the core, which is we have uh, the protagonist. which of course he is deluded with this idea that if there is no God, then everything is permitted, which means that he has this example that great men like Napoleon and so on, they became great men because they did whatever they wanted. They, of course, they had to do horrible things to become great men. So he says, I think his name is Raskolnikov, right? But he says, uh, if they could do it, and if they are remembered as great men, then why shouldn't I do the same? But this is the hilarious part of this book, because this guy, he just kills a nobody. He kills like a mentally ill a woman, right? And she wasn't the one he actually wanted to kill, but he gets found out, and he has to kill her, of course. And he thought that this he would feel absolutely nothing because he is, of course, also a great man. But as it turns out, immediately after he commits the crime, he is eaten alive by guilt and remorse and regret. And throughout the book, he is just a mess. He is a burning flame that just tussles around, right? Because of course, being brag if you it's one thing to brag about being uh this badass, right? And then there's another to actually committing something, to actually doing something. And that is a perfect example of people that talk the talk but can't walk the walk. We've met these people that just brag endlessly about, they're the hardest motherfucker on the block, but then when shit goes down, they just piss their pants and they just run away, right? But Raskolnikov here, he is devastated by what he has done. He cannot sleep, he cannot eat. He is tormented by these dark thoughts. The guilt simply destroys him, and he has many attempts at admitting to various people what he has done, but of course he doesn't, and he almost gets away with it, right? He imagines that some people know, that some people, like the local police commissar, maybe he knows, but essentially he just confesses in the end because he just cannot tolerate what he has done, right? The minute he confesses, he is relieved. He can finally relax and breathe and just be calm again. And this is almost a nightmare because you are experiencing this guy's agony. He is destroyed mentally. His ideology is a sham, right? And so on. This is a phenomenal book for a reason. There's just so much more than I just cannot go into because it would take hours. And if you think that you are confident enough to start with Dostoevsky, especially with his big works, then pick it up and start reading because, listen, Dostoevsky is one of the big ones. He is an evil genius, right? And those who criticize him for superficial matters, like style and whatnot, they don't have the attention to investigate. All right. This is not filler. What we're reading here. All right. This is not entertainment. Right. There's a reason why Nietzsche respected him so. Because Nietzsche said Dostoevsky has something to teach me. Dostoevsky has plenty to teach all of us. Because he went through some crazy shit in his life and he just poured his madness into the page and it shows. right? And I think it was in a letter to his brother right after he wasn't executed. He was pardoned, and then he went to the gulag. He sent a letter to his brother, and he told him, listen, you gotta read, you bastard. You gotta read, okay? And that's my message to all people. Listen, pick up a book and you gotta read, okay? Read. Books are here. They can be a friend. They can be a teacher. They can be anything, all right? Books, the best books that are out there, okay, they're gonna change you. They're gonna change your life. They're gonna change the way you think. They're gonna improve you, all right? Because books are what we didn't have as kids. We didn't have the mentors that could steer us on the right path, all right? And it's a sad thing. I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. I had to learn it by myself. And but whenever I picked up a book like Dostoevsky, uh, there was always something else to learn. All right, and that's what makes these kinds of books and these kinds of colossal writers special, because they are the role models, the teachers, the mentors, the experienced people that we didn't have in our lives when we were younger. All right, and it's never too late to pick up one of these books and just let them show you just how much you don't know about life, about people, about culture, about even the darkest emotions that you think you are so familiar with, right? Keep on reading. Keep on reading books. And listen, if you're gonna simp, okay, if you feel this instinct, this compelling passion to simp, all right, listen. You gotta simp for Dostoevsky. All right, you have to. If you're gonna simp for Dostoevsky, because he is worth it. All right, and that's it. Keep on reading.